Hey Ryan, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
I am doing good. How's the camp feeling right now with the upcoming short Australian tour?
We're doing great, man. Everyone's actually excited because everyone in the band loves going to Australia. Like it's one of our favorite places to tour. So we're all pumped for it, and it's unfortunately it's only going to be four shows. Usually we do a little more than that, but you know what? They're all going to be great, and we've put together a really special set for this tour, and there's going to be a ton of songs that we've never played in Australia before. So we're really excited to bring this set over to Australia.
That's wonderful. Now, right after you finish, you guys finish the tour, you would be doing some clinics or let's say master classes, like you said. So, for you as a professional drummer, how important do you feel the drummers, like us, even I'm a drummer, how do we relate to these master classes in terms of learning or adapting new techniques?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a really good question, and there will be some of that in it because I am a drummer and it's a drum clinic or master class. But this time I'm trying to take a little bit different approach with my master class this time around, and what I mean by that is it's still going to be about drumming and stuff, but I also want to make it applicable to any musician or music lover.
Okay.
So, as an example, like a basic rundown of what I'll be doing in these clinics is, an introduction, background on my life, but also how to prepare for your big break, getting into the industry, an introduction to endorsements and how they actually work, because everyone's always interested in that.
Right.
My vision on songwriting, which can be applied to any instrument. I'm really big into health and fitness, and so how health and fitness actually fits into touring and how touring works, and all those different things. And then everyone knows who knows me knows I'm a really positive person. I want to kind of get throughout the clinic my positivity, but at the same time, the ways that positivity and all the different things lended to my success in the music industry. And, the overall theme is going to be to educate people, to inspire people, and to motivate people to be the best they can be.
That's wonderful. So, like you said, because majority of the drum clinics which happen, I mean, I've been to many and I've spoken to drummers who've been doing these clinics, and it's always been about drums. That's it. I mean, the stress which comes along. I mean, like you said, I mean, how you keep your body fit, how you adapt to various, weather change, and you keep traveling. You have to, sit behind the kit every day and nail it. So things like this, which are, let's say, even basic, but then it's the most important factor which every musician should consider, because it's not just about you sitting behind the drums and hitting it, but also keeping yourself fit.
That's exactly it. You nailed it on the head, and that's what I want to get across. It's like I'll give you an example. Back in the early 2000s, when I first joined Devin and I joined the Devin Townsend band,
Hmm.
I had a back accident, and I was fit when the accident happened, but my doctor basically said, you cannot work out anymore because I always worked out to stay fit. And so for it must have been a good 7 or 8 years, I wasn't allowed to touch weights because if I did, it would set off my sciatic nerve, and then my back would be out for like another month. So over that course of time, I didn't work out. I didn't keep on top of my healthy eating. Next thing you know, I gained 45 pounds. Well, let me tell you, when I went out touring with the Devin Townsend band, it just made my life a nightmare on the road. I just saw how, like, being out of shape and stuff, my performance, I'd still do the best I can and try and nail it every night, but I was sluggish, felt tired all the time. I caught colds a lot easier. There were all these different things. So then you fast forward up until when the Devin Townsend project started. My doctor finally said I was healthy enough to clear to go to the gym again. I started going to the gym. I lost 45 pounds in like 4 months, man. That's how determined I was to get back in shape. And got back in shape, and I've stayed that way ever since. But let me tell you, when I started touring with the Devin Townsend project and
Hmm.
I was fit and in shape, never did I experience fatigue or feeling sluggish or anything. Man, we do our tours of Australia, which everyone knows you don't get a lot of sleep on those tours because you're constantly traveling, right?
Mm-hmm.
No problem, man. I could go out there and play a 2 hour set, no problem. So health and fitness, it's a really big thing to me, and I definitely want to include that in the clinic.
That's wonderful. I mean, apart from this, obviously, because drummers around the world, I mean, they get excited whenever a drummer comes, who's played in so many bands, has a great legacy behind, comes and, shows his chops and explains all things drums. So with you doing all these clinics in Australia, what have you planned other than these? Like basically, I mean, I recently spoke to Dave Lombardo who did the same. He had a drum clinic tour in Australia, and
Yeah.
since he's not a kind of guy who's been doing clinics for a long time. He started doing maybe a year or two ago. So there was no pre-planning. We done okay. What am I exactly gonna do there? So he had to plan it in the end. So you, of course, been doing it for a long time. Is it something which you always plan, like, okay, on this tour I'm going to be taking them, let's say, this particular direction which I didn't do last time, but it's something which you just want to do everything at once?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I plan it, and I want to be different from my last clinics, and this one I think is going to be the most left field approach that I've ever done, but within the same breath, I think it's going to be the coolest clinic and masterclass that I've ever done, hands down, because you know what? I'm going to play a bunch of songs from the different bands that I've been in to backing tracks, but there's going to be a method to the madness as to why I play those songs. But again, hinting on all the things that I want to educate people about within the music industry, I think is going to be a lot more useful to these people. And especially if there's guitar players. I already have tons of vocalists, guitar players, and they've been messaging me on my Facebook saying, hey, I'm coming too. You're really inspiring and stuff. And that's what I want to hear. Man, I'd love it if half the crowd was drummers and the other half were other musicians.
Right.
The bottom line is there will be drumming. There will be things to learn about drumming. But most of all, like I said before, I want to educate people about the music industry. I want to inspire them and motivate them. And just let them know, man, that you know what? So many people say, oh, it's so hard to make in the music industry and all this stuff. You know what? I don't believe that. I really believe that you got to have a vision. You got to believe in yourself 100%. And you got to go out and you got to bust your ass. You got to work hard.
Absolutely.
You never, ever, ever quit. You keep going. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to run into problems. But you know what? You can learn from all those things. So I'm going to go into great detail about that and how I succeed and how I continue to succeed in different things. And, again, that's going to be my focus. That's the plan that I came up with for this whole masterclass tour.
Wonderful. It's gonna be a treat for people. I mean, I'll be really great if other than drummers, other folks also come in and see your opinion and basically take something home because it's a lesson. So I'm really glad that this has happened. Now talking about drums, I mean, like being a drummer myself, I know there were those initial days when we were all inspired to play faster and try to play match the speed of all the crazy thrash metal, death metal tracks of 80s. But then we realized, obviously, I'm sure even you would have faced that drums are not just about speed. It's about how it's about grooves, how we basically use the patterns and there's amazing fills and punishing rapid fire tempo. So many things coming together. And you, Ryan, have basically you've done it all. I mean, when we talk about these patterns, but like drummers these days just want to go as fast as possible, but they forget the rules and regulations of being a drummer, let's say being a diverse drummer. So according to you, what do you feel lacks in the modern day metal drummers?
Well, you know what? That's a tough question because I see guys out there who do some amazing things, okay? But then again, I do see guys who are blasting their way through everything, right? And you know what? To be honest, I don't listen to a lot of metal, man. It's like if you were to go into my car, you'd hear me playing, stuff like Bob Marley, I listen to a lot of the Beatles. I listen to Dave Matthews Band, or I like Porcupine Trees, more of a progressive rock band. But so it's like, but I listen to guys in metal today, and I agree with you that there are a lot of guys out there just trying to blast their way through it. But then there's other drummers, like what would be a good example? Let's take Mario Duplantier from Gojira.
Yeah.
Tasty drummer, killer grooves. If he can blast, I mean, if he needs to blast, he will do it. Yeah. If he needs to really lay it down and just lay 4 on the floor, he will do it. And that's the type of drummer that I really respect. And, when I got to know Mario when we toured together, it's like I told him right to his face, I'm like, I love your style of drumming. And, like, one of my biggest influences was Vinnie Paul from Pantera. And to me, that guy's the king of groove in metal, man. It's like he can whip out the chops. You listen to a song like Becoming, that's a killer beat, man, and it's technical. But within the same breath, that guy is always grooving no matter what he plays. And I think the biggest thing, and it's one of the things I'm going to talk about in my clinic, is play for the song. Right. It's not a spotlight on the drummer when it comes to metal. You know what? If you want to impress people, lay down some fat grooves, and every once in a while, when it's called for, whip out that amazing fill, or whip out that crazy beat. Do whatever the song calls for, and you will be noticed a lot more. And I'm going to talk about that quite a bit in the master class as well.
That's wonderful, Ryan. Now, Ryan, of course, after the shows are done and then the drum clinics will happen, have you guys, you, Devin, sat and figured out that what's next? What are you guys going to do next?
Well, early next year, still finding out when exactly, we are going to record a brand new record. So there's going to be a new Devin Townsend project record coming out next year. We're definitely going to lay off the touring. This Australia tour will probably be the final tour for the Z2 album cycle. Mm-hmm. And, my guess, nothing confirmed, but my guess is the next time we play live probably won't even be until the summer when we hit the summer festival tour.
Okay.
But other than that, it's album time. We're going to be doing a new record. Dev's got a bunch of great ideas. And I think right when we get back from Australia, we're going to start hitting the rehearsal space and going over a bunch of